Have you ever wondered how some completely ordinary people, no fancy degrees, no sky-high IQs, still manage to achieve results that make even geniuses look slow? The mental hack I'm about to share with you is being quietly used by those who've figured out how to unlock the hidden power of the mind. And it's creating a new elite, people who are reprogramming their brains to break past their own limits, while most are still stuck thinking they're just too tired to even try. And when I say ordinary people, I mean people like you, people who feel there's something greater inside, but have been conditioned to settle for less. So don't scroll away, stay with me. Close your social apps and focus, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to outperform any genius effortlessly with this powerful mind hack. So go ahead and comment, I outsmart anyone. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you're serious about unlocking your limitless intelligence, this is something you need to hear right now. There's a subtle lie your brain tells you every single day, and almost everyone believes it: mental fatigue. Most people assume that when exhaustion hits, it's because their tank is empty. But that's not exactly true. According to Thomas Edison, fatigue is more of a habit than a real condition. And he was right. This sense of mental exhaustion we often feel is actually a primitive program, a built-in mechanism designed to keep us in our comfort zone and conserve energy at all costs. The problem is, this energy-saving mode comes at a high price. It takes us out of the game long before we even get close to reaching our true potential. Science has already made this clear. Researchers at Stanford University discovered that most decisions to quit aren't driven by actual physical exhaustion, but by emotional responses. In other words, you don't stop because you're out of fuel, you stop because your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort. But here's the twist, it's exactly at that moment, when your mind screams enough, that the magic can begin. That's when the second mind wakes up, a quiet, instinctive intelligence that only emerges when you push past the point where most people give up. And once it takes over, mental fatigue dissolves like mist under the sun. Think about it. What if your biggest breakthroughs are hiding right at the spot where you usually throw in the towel? It's like your true potential lives on the other side of an invisible wall, and only those bold enough to push through ever discover what real mental mastery feels like. This is the zone where your mind starts to unlock, where limitless intelligence begins to surface, where razor-sharp focus wraps around you like invisible armor. But staying in that state takes more than courage. It takes structure, and it all starts with your environment. Most people don't realize how much their environment shapes what goes on inside their mind. A chaotic space doesn't just affect the aesthetics, it scrambles your thoughts, disrupts your deep focus, and fragments your cognitive performance. A messy desk, a blinking notification, an open browser tab. These are invisible frictions draining your energy without you even noticing. They're micro-interruptions that break your mental flow, throw you off course, and shift your brain from creation mode into defense mode. It's like trying to run a marathon in the wrong shoes, with the wrong scenery, and people calling your name every 2 minutes. The secret behind a high-performing genius mind isn't just IQ. It's how that mind prepares the battlefield. Creating a high-performance environment is like building a sacred altar for your reprogrammed brain. Start with sensory anchors. Maybe it's an isochronic soundtrack that gets you into the perfect state, a scent that triggers a productivity response in your brain, or a dedicated space your mind learns to associate with creation. This mental ritual trains your brain's neuroplasticity and conditions it to shift into a productive alert state automatically. That's the difference between a warrior ready for battle and someone who just reacts to the chaos of the day. This cognitive stronghold needs to be guarded as seriously as you protect your time or your money. The more shielded your environment is, the faster your second mind kicks in, leading you into that mental unlock zone where fatigue becomes an illusion. In this space, distractions can't get in, focus doesn't flicker, and limitless intelligence starts to take over. By the way, drop a comment below and tell us, what's the biggest thief of your attention during the day? Because if this blew your mind, just wait until you learn how to enter a flow state on command. Most people never experience true mental flow. And it's not because they lack the ability, it's because they're afraid. Afraid to go all in, afraid to fully commit to one single task. But flow doesn't happen in the shallow end. It requires immersion, total presence. That's where your superhuman mind wakes up, where your reprogrammed brain starts working effortlessly, as if it's tapped into a hidden layer of reality. Research from McKinsey has shown that when you enter a flow state, cognitive performance can increase by up to 700%. 700. That's not hype, it's science. But to get there, you first have to break through the initial wall, discomfort. Forget easing in. To deliberately activate this mental hack, you need to challenge your brain from the very start. Pick a task that stretches you about 15% beyond your current level. Eliminate all escape routes. Close your tabs. Put your phone on airplane mode for 90 minutes. Set up your mental ritual with a specific soundtrack, a scent, the right lighting. Every detail should send a clear message to your mind. It's time to fly. Your brain will resist for the first 20 to 30 minutes. But if you push through that threshold, the portal opens. And flow stops being some mystical state. It becomes a tool you can use at will. Flow isn't a gift. It's a gateway, and you have to earn your way through it. Once you do, you activate that second mind, the one that doesn't get distracted, doesn't sabotage you, doesn't wonder if you're good enough. It just executes. In this state, dopamine and focus lock into sync, and your limitless intelligence starts working for you. But what happens when that power begins to consume you? When the pursuit of peak performance starts turning into burnout? The answer might be something that sounds counterintuitive, slowing down to move forward. There's a silent belief sabotaging millions of brilliant minds, the idea that burnout is a sign of weakness. Nothing could be further from the truth. Mental collapse doesn't come from strength. It comes from a lack of strategy. When you push your reprogrammed brain without honoring its natural cycles, even the mental flow state can turn toxic. That's why true masters of performance have learned to apply what we can call the law of mental thermodynamics. Anything that expands with intensity must, by nature, go through phases of contraction. Ignoring this law is like driving a sports car at top speed without ever checking the engine. The key lies in the cycle. 4 to 6 weeks of full immersion, where you pour everything into your genius mind, followed by 1 or 2 weeks of active recovery. And let's be clear, active recovery doesn't mean doom scrolling social media or binge watching shows. It means entering conscious mental regeneration modes. Long, stimulus-free walks. Deep reading without urgency. Intuitive journaling, where you reflect and reconnect with your inner self. Periods of dopamine fasting, where silence becomes the most nourishing food for your mind. This is the real brain hack high performers use behind the scenes. As Dr. Joe Dispenza said, the mind breathes too, and those who don't allow space for silence end up suffocating their own genius. This is the art of controlled burnout. It's the mental mastery of someone who understands that sometimes stepping back is not a sign of weakness, it's a power move. And when you return from this cycle, you come back sharper, more focused, more present. And that's when the real game begins. If you felt like you've learned something here that no one's ever taught you before, just wait until you discover the hack that's helping ordinary people surpass even the brightest minds. You don't need to wait for anything, not permission, not a degree, not the perfect moment. Everything you need to start rewriting how your mind operates is already within you, just dormant. What you've learned here isn't social media motivation, it's a map. A real map to hack your mind, awaken your second mind, trigger flow on command, master burnout, and build a high-performance environment where your limitless intelligence can thrive naturally. But knowledge without action is just a pretty illusion. True mental mastery begins when you commit to applying, testing, and refining these practices every day, like sharpening a rare blade. And believe me, the results don't take long to show up. When you enter this mode of continuous mental growth, the world notices. Opportunities notice. And most importantly, you start seeing yourself differently. So if this resonated with you, give it a like, share this video with someone who feels like they've got a genius mind trapped in a limited routine, and drop a comment below telling us what impacted you the most from this content. Your journey to becoming smarter than any genius you've ever known might have just started today. And from here on out, you decide how far it goes.